have friends who do podcasts, but they don't do videos with them. They just do audio recording, but that's it.
Oh.
I mean, I guess they're not using
what
YouTube. This just all goes on Apple.
What happens if you spontaneously combust? We would all
You'd
feel really
miss that,
bad
wouldn't you? That'd
if we
be
didn't
terrible.
get that.
Yeah,
Right?
like
or
we
a random
need that.
football hits you in the balls.
And then
like,
Jeff lit on fire.
What if a random football hits you in the balls?
Right. I mean, we want to be on.
You want to get that wince.
America's funniest videos. You know, like that's our ticket out of this. Right.
That's where we make our billions of dollars.
So we're like 15 minutes before this ASH meeting is going on.
Yeah.
Which is maybe some of the background noise we're hearing. People are filtering in, bringing in, looks like a box of carboys.
We've got a whole bunch of
some
bottles that came in, people bringing in beer.
Barry is walking through the clubhouse with a two-wheeler.
So handsome. I don't know how this world exists.
People are congregating by the tap list. I think there's like 9 beers.
Are you having
beers.
a beer?
Yeah, I'm having Vienna Lager. I had one earlier today when we sat down over at Bottle Shop 48.
Fate Vienna Lager. If anyone wants to sit down, come and jump in.
Sit down, man. Rolling? Yeah, we're rolling, man. What's the subject? Whatever we're talking about.
Being at the Ash Clubhouse right now.
Talk about Ash.
Are you here?
I'm here.
Introduce
have
yourself.
a chair. Sit down. Say hi.
Well, hello. Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm Craig, secretary here at ASH.
Craig's been a very active member of ASH for a few years.
Get you on the camera here. Whoop.
12?
No, I got started into brewing at 20, in 20.
Oh, okay.
And I joined the board about 22 or something. So
Thank you for your service. There's nothing easy about being on a board, period.
Well, one thing that makes it tolerable is fun other board members.
And beer.
Oh, yeah.
It helps. It helps. I'm drinking the Ash and Oso Brewing Company collab, Ash Kicker.
Nice.
American IPA.
Nice. I didn't see that one.
It's a Vienna Lager. I didn't see who made it. I'll go look later. But there's
What about you, Craig?
I got the Polliner.
Polliner.
I thought I'd start off light.
Is that actually Polliner, or is it somebody make that?
Actual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A couple of our members donated a keg of that.
Nice. Just watch your drinking arm there. That's all.
What is it that, what is your favorite, how do you brew? Do you do 5-gallon batches, small batches, big batches, what?
I'm
what
doing
do you do?
5 gallons generally. I've got a claw hammer, 24-volt system, 24 volt. Let's go 10 times that, 240.
So electric brewing, cool.
Electric, I'm doing electric brewing a bucket, basket, whatever.
Yeah. So a single vessel lift out.
Yes.
Cool.
And I'm under my patio, so I've got the pulley that pulls it up.
That's what everyone's going to, these single vessels lately, right? In the last 10 years.
Seems to be the trend for sure.
You got on that bandwagon. Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, mine is not that fancy. It's just a paint strainer bag in a spaghetti pot. But yeah,
it's the same idea.
All my stuff is just a back wrecker and a potential, liquid magma in my backyard. Several vessels of it. So, but I wanted to ask because what we want to do is we want to talk about people's club experiences. We want to tell the Ash story. We want to get people to feel comfortable coming and understanding fermentation. So, you got thoughts on any of that? I know you weren't. Did you enter the competition? The
No.
NHC.
No.
Okay.
I've not done internationals competitions. No national competitions yet for me.
Okay, so what thing do you value out of being an Ash member or homebrewer?
I like really just the community.
Yeah.
I'm not that big into competitions per se. I'm more of a kind of out there, try this, see if it turns out. What happens if I do this sort of a thing versus trying to dial it in precisely. What was the question?
You answered it. That was it.
Okay. It's the community really hanging out here, and I get other ideas for other crazy stuff to try, bounce ideas off of, and
yeah.
Well, the when I started, it was kind of a little bit of a party club.
I've heard that.
And there was some education, but the meetings were loud. It's loud now, but this is the pre-meeting. Everyone's going to go into the next room shortly, and there'll be some people hanging out here, and we can watch the meeting through some of the TVs that are here in the lounge.
Yeah.
But
Hey, Rob.
Yeah,
Remember my first meeting when it was at the Tempe Women's Club?
I do. I remember the Tempe Women's Club.
Boy, it was wild. That kitchen
Yeah.
and like just coolers of beer, and the kitchen was where all the naughty kids hung out, like Chris Soper, and made tons of noise and would never shut up. And Rob's up front in this room trying to conduct a meeting. No one would shut up back there.
Yeah.
And I was like, would you all stop? I just got here. It's my first time. What are you doing?
We had that same problem when we were in the clubhouse
Rose
in Scottsdale.
Market. Yeah.
At Rose Market. We also met in a wedding hall, but it was kind of a crowded, low-ceilinged, not very celebratory kind of wedding hall. I think it was
Like
more
a funeral hall?
I don't know. It might have been like, I don't know. It wasn't their main room, right?
Okay.
But I wasn't around when we met in bars and things like that. Occasionally we would, especially when we were between. But how long have you been with the club?
Since 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Right after pandemic or during pandemic?
I started getting interested in it just before, and came to, well, actually, I don't know if I found out about the club until a little later, because I think my first meetings were online.
Yeah.
So there's few people that I'd met in person,
Right.
as I think about it.
Who?
Yeah. Well, I remember Paul, the president.
Yeah.
He stood out at the time. And actually, there's a bunch of names that I didn't learn because I didn't know them in person. There was an image on the screen. So some of these people were probably some who were in the room making comments, but can't
Yeah.
make the association.
I didn't do any of those meetings. Did they just have like full virtual? Was anyone like, I don't know, together? I don't know.
Well, I remember we did an experiment.
I'm not going to hold you to any answers. Don't worry.
We tested water chemistry. So we had like 3 different members do the same brew with a different starting water.
Oh, very cool.
So we had to get those samples to somebody to pick them up. So
Yeah.
we did that during
Sure.
COVID. That's risky behavior.
Yeah. Oh, trouble. I mean, homebrewers, they're known for being troublemakers, like real low-key, but troublemakers. This club has a 500-gallon RO water tank, right?
It might be 300, but it's a big
It's a
tank.
biggie.
It's enough.
Yeah, that's really a great option. Like,
Yeah.
I know breweries that need RO water really bad.
All right. Well,
Yeah, that was a donation from Oro, and it wasn't when they closed. It was before that when they improved their system. So it wasn't like a cast off. It was.
yeah, I know that we got the RO purifier. I think that was from Oro. I don't know about the container, if we got that independently or if that came from them also. And we built in the system of electronics to sense when it's full.
Right.
So it stops, and it's self-maintaining now.
So cool.
So I wanted to go back because I might have to edit some of this because it's kind of loud, but. You were a homebrewer. You started joining online to the club. You value the community. You bring beers. You get some feedback, but you're not dialing them in for competition.
Right.
That sounds like a lot of the members here. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a good percentage of them.
But we are sort of known now as a competition club.
Right.
That we've got a contingent that is seriously into that. Yeah.
And you host a lot of competitions that out-of-state homebrewers send beer to.
That's true.
So that's
So good job, Craig. It all came from your vision has come true.
well. I just I think a lot of people. There's been a lot of talk about getting more members with different experiences and not necessarily being all about beer, but other kinds of fermentation. And you were here for the fermented foods meeting. What was the highlight for you?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I actually know because I started
Trying. I was actually prepared to do a presentation myself for that. I've gotten into rice products, Korean rice wine called makgeolli.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a presentation on that coming up probably in August.
Oh, so we were just at happy hour, and I was talking to some folks, and like someone brought it up, and I'm like, I thought we either had a presentation or we're having a presentation come up. So that's good to know. I'm interested in that too. I when I was in Korea, I had some, and I think it seems like it might be easier than sake, and certainly a lot easier than soju. So very, very similar in consistency to horchata, not the same spices.
Yeah.
So, like, that seems to be, that might be a cool thing for a lot of people, not just you and I.
And I like horchata, so I'm thinking maybe I'll put some cinnamon and some honey in the back, sweeten a little bit of makgeolli, and have a dirty horchata or something.
Dirty horchata. All right, right on. Well, thanks for chatting with us. I'm going to have to probably wait because like it got kind of loud.
It got really loud all of a sudden.
Like it'll
I
knock
don't know
out
if
noise,
that matters, but
no, when you can start hearing like words and stuff, like pretty.
like I started brewing with wine.
Yeah. That's gonna sound like it came from you. And
Well, thanks for including me.
I have friends who do podcasts, but they don't do videos with them. They just do audio recording, but that's it.
Oh.
I mean, I guess they're not using
what
YouTube. That just all goes on Apple.
What
kind
happens
of
if
stuff.
you spontaneously combust? We would
Yeah.
all feel
You'd
really
miss that,
bad
wouldn't you?
if
That'd
we
be
didn't
terrible.
get that.
Yeah,
Right?
like
or
we
a random
need that.
football hits you in the balls.
And then
like,
Jeff lit on
What if
fire.
what if a random football hits you in the balls?
Right. I mean, we want to be on
You want to get that wince.
America's funniest videos. Like that's our ticket out of this. Right.
That's where we make our billions of dollars.
Hey, so we're here at the Ash meeting proper, and there's a mead making thing going on. Apparently, you know how to make mead
I've made
better
mead
than
for-
Ellen.
No,
Ellen,
yeah,
gold
right.
medal winner, because you don't need to hear.
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Mead
I
maker
hear
of the
nothing to
year.
learn from him. No.
Right, but
Ellen
they're
Martin.
they're online.
well, Ellen Martin was the mead maker of the year for the National
Multiple,
Homebrew Club.
and for
Several
the
times.
American Mead Makers Association,
Yes.
like twice, I think.
Right.
So
I know.
yeah, he's
Dude's
but
crazy good.
he walked away with a gold from Asheville.
That's right.
Very important. But all these presentations are recorded, and you can enjoy them many, many times if you want.
And for Ash members, if you are not in person, you can be here virtually, which is, I mean, it's really cool the stuff they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you could sit in your living room, or you could sit in your car, or what if you're at work or something, or
A bar.
if you're careening 90 miles an hour from Flagstaff, you might drop out here and there.
pop
but,
it anywhere you want to pop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just have your kids watch it and relate all the important. We're being facetious.
It worked for my kids.
Introduce yourself and tell us all about what you do here at the club.
Sure. My name is Jeff. I started brewing before a lot of the people in the club were born. My first batch of beer I made was in 1985. And I always tell people the story because it was a different world then, right? So those of you who are not old enough remember this stuff. I mean, the story was that when they
Paper
repealed,
bags of hops.
well, when they repealed Prohibition, they apparently authorized winemaking but not beer making. So Jimmy Carter, like in 1978 or 79, signed a law that authorized homebrew for beer. And then little brew shops started popping up around the country. And the first place I found was, we were living in Texas at the time, and I went in there. My father had brewed back in the 60s. Famous to remember beer bottles exploding all the time. Because, I mean, they would drop the gravity down, they would bottle it at a certain point and say, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
So the first beer I made, the great directions were 3.3 pound can of malt and 3 pounds of sugar, which tasted like crap. And so I actually went back to the shop and I said, this tastes like crap. They go, oh, so your next step, you got to get 2 3.3 pound cans of malt and make an all malt beer. And that was sort of where it started. So I've been brewing now for, is it 40 years? From
Wow.
86, long time. Even spent some time working in industry for a while. I actually was at Miller in marketing for a number of years later on. And part of how I got there was I was a brewer, and the chairman of the company he was like, this guy actually brews and he
You know how to make
markets
beer?
stuff. Yeah, exactly. So
This was when it was headquartered in Texas?
in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, because they had you said Texas.
that
they,
was
had
it.
they had a Texas office for a while.
There probably is a distributor and office down there, but their main headquarters has been in Milwaukee forever, and then they moved to Chicago with the Miller Coors merger a number of years ago. So
Right.
I still have a lot of friends who still are there. Most of them are retired now at this point. But I started brewing in '86. I went from a can and a bag of sugar to 2 cans to all grain brewing over the course of about 5 or 6 years. I joined my first club when we were living in Los Angeles in 1994, a place called, it was in Culver City. It was called Pacific Gravity Brewing Club, and enjoyed it immensely, and kept brewing from there. Entered some beers in NHC over time, started doing some competitions. I'm not a huge competition guy, but I always enjoyed the feedback, and it's always fun to get a medal. And then we sort of just progressed. We lived in Seattle for 15 years. I was president of our club there for 2 years up in Washington State. I was on the organizing committee for the 2012 NHC that was held in Seattle.
Oh, thank
Brewing
you.
with
Wow.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, I went to that one.
That was awesome. And in 2017, we moved to Arizona, and I had to find a home. And I found Ash online. And I still remember the first meeting I went to was the holiday party. It was somewhere at like a theater in Mesa, on Main Street in Mesa. And it was the first event I went to. I brought my wife with me. It was the most uncomfortable experience I've ever been to because it was Christmas and everybody was greeting and I didn't know a soul. But I hung around long enough. The president at the time, Carvin, we had an issue where the guy who ran competitions disappeared. And so I joined the board probably a year later and ran competitions for 2 years and finally decided it was time to get out. So, and my brewing has sort of expanded. I went from all grain brewing, which I've done for a long time. I started doing meads, influenced by people like Carvin and Alan Martin, and that was always fun. I've done some kettle sours, which has been fun to do. And they just sort of expanded into other fermentation things like cheese making and fermented hot sauces and those kind of things. So that's sort of my background. A lot of stuff, isn't it?
Okay, well, hey,
That's
good
got,
times.
it's got 40
We're
years of
done.
stuff, right?
Amazing. That's cool.
You've had a lot of obviously club experience and even national experience. You didn't go to the NHC, but I'm sure that was.
Yeah, I did not go this year. Yeah,
This year.
it fell on my wedding anniversary, so I was not able to.
Yeah, okay, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. What is your impression of what that is supposed to do? The national conference. What is it supposed to accomplish?
Well, you know, when we were in, so I attended. There was one in LA when I was at Pacific Gravity, and I judged during that competition. It must have been like, I don't even guess. I'm not even gonna guess the year.
That was pre-me.
A long time ago. And then we did the event in Seattle. I think that there are a couple main things that go on there. I think number one is there's obviously a piece around appreciation of beer, home brewing, and the camaraderie that goes with that. And that, I would say, is what has attracted me beyond just brewing on my own to joining a club, right? It's the notion of finding people with shared interests and being able to share tips and tricks and share things you've made, and I don't find that anywhere else. So there's that part of it. I think another big piece of the, do you still call it the NHC? We call it the NHC,
they
but
call
they call it
it
something else.
HomebrewCon.
HomebrewCon.
Yeah.
There obviously is a big, education component to it, which I know that we had some members who ran some sessions this year, which
We
was
did,
great.
yeah.
And then I think the third thing is just recognizing excellence, whether it is brewers, brew clubs, people winning medals. I know they give out a Homebrew Shop of the Year award
Yeah,
to somebody.
yeah.
So I think
that's
it's
somebody
kind of,
I knew from online.
is it?
Back in Homebrew Talk.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he was, and I actually went to one of his brew outs in New Jersey, and then I hadn't seen him, in like 20 years, and so it was kind of interesting to see that he has as much excitement and fire in the belly, and now he's in a position, in a tenuous position, as we all know. I mean, with homebrew
as a homebrew
stores,
store, yeah.
struggling. So that was good. I think you nailed a lot of the things I wanted to ask, because I was kind of see if you could characterize who you are as a homebrewer and what you value. And so, is the club here in Arizona, is Ash delivering on that? And what can we do to be more inclusive, or get some younger folks in here, get people that we don't normally see?
Well, I have been, I've been a member of a few different homebrew clubs, and I have been impressed by Ash. When I was on the board, there was all this talk. I remember when it first meeting with the board, we covered the treasury report, and there's all this money in the bank, and I kept saying, how do you have that much money in the bank? And the answer was, we're saving it all to open a clubhouse, which I thought was a joke. I mean, I really did. And then, I don't know any brew club that has a clubhouse.
Yeah, there's you could count it on one hand.
You probably could.
Yeah.
And I laughed it off. And, I think that the clubhouse has really created the environment where people can come together. When I was running competitions, we always scrambled over where we're going to judge at, because there were legalities around it and availabilities, and someone had to close on a Saturday to let you do that. We had a similar problem up in Washington State, although in Washington State we could meet at breweries, which was good. But I think that there is that spirit of community that happens here at Ash between the clubhouse and the number of events that we do during the year, like the Spring Fest and Oktoberfest, between the competitions, between the bus trips. I think there is.
Collab brews. We've got a brewer over there from a brewery. We've got on tap another collab brew from another brewery.
Well, and I'll tell you, I love doing. We used to do a thing in Seattle we used to call the Big Brew, where we would just have one brewery would brew a 15 barrel batch of beer that we would help them construct as a club, and then everybody would come line up on a Tuesday night, and everybody would take 5 gallons home, and we'd do something with them, which was fun to do. The pro-am here has taken that to another level. I only participated in that twice. Did it once with Huss, but the first time I did it was with Greenwood, and Greenwood actually won that year, which was great. And we got to go down and brew with Megan and crew, and it was just incredible. So you learn a lot. I think the education programs that the club does are excellent. Sometimes the topics really resonate. Sometimes they don't so much, but that's natural, I think, for anything that you do. The competitions, having run the competition before, I'm always excited to be able to judge and participate in those, but also be able to enter in them. So just a lot of great stuff going on, and I think that there is such a change going on societally today, where and Rob, all this stuff, right? Which is there's been this shift between beer to hard liquor and to wine, and people have cut back consumption on things. And I think a lot of younger people today are maybe more interested in knowing, learning, and the social part of things, as opposed to going out and buying equipment and brewing on a Saturday. And I think that there may be some outreach we can do there. Everybody wants to be knowledgeable. I remember when I worked at Miller years ago, that we had a consultant who was in, and he always told me, he said, the hardest question to answer in a bar is, why are you drinking that? Now, this is back in the early 1980s, mid 1980s, or 1990s, I'm sorry. And so everybody's out drinking Miller Lite, Bud Light, Coors Light, and his whole thing was, you hopefully you have an answer, you're just embarrassed. And I think that there's a piece around education, just even around, I know we do beer judge classes, but things around beer styles and what makes things different, and how do people influence the flavor profiles, that I think is really interesting to people.
And thinking about what you're drinking, right?
Yeah.
Like,
having some expectation of, this is a West Coast IPA, what should it be like? And then how do I sort of evaluate it? Not in points, but in terms of, is it hitting the mark or not, right?
There has always been, there has been an association with craft beer and home cooking and slow food. I mean, there was that educational piece where even a lot of restaurants felt obligated to have some sort of beer program, and that's kind of fallen off a lot. But I think you're onto something with the education, and there's a lot of people who are discovering, because it wasn't always talked about, like that your culture may not be German or English or traditionally beer, but there are a lot of different fermentation traditions, some of them with alcohol, that we're discovering. Like Garrett Oliver is promoting African brewed beers with things like Fonio and other non-European grains. So I think there's some of that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
But I even think things like, and we tend to, as a brewers group, get highly caught up in and go in depth on things like process and ingredients. But I think there's also a piece which is sort of like, today there are a wide number of different styles of IPAs, for example. And I think that even just the idea about sort of, let's just talk about different, here's a West Coast IPA, here's a hazy IPA, here's a double IPA, here's an English IPA, and really just kind of explore that area of the map, if you will, the beer map. I think gives people some stuff where they can start talking about things and act knowledgeable and feel like they know something going on. And it's not a lot about, specifically I use Fuggles hops in this, right? But it's about this uses English hops and tends to be this versus this, and right. That's
well, I have two thoughts, and they probably resonate with you as somebody who ran competitions. I'll say it. I say it a lot. Like if one of the best volunteer opportunities or job in a competition is to be a steward, because the pressure's off. You're not responsible for writing notes or knowing very much, or there is some enjoyment in listening to the table, understanding, hey, this is something they liked. I'm going to try it. They're going to tell me what style it is. You can pick up a lot just by being a steward. And I'll also say, you mentioned, the hop types. In the end, it's what you taste. So you can say up and down, I use Fuggle hops, but if we all taste cotton candy, which would be unrealistic, then that's what we're tasting. And so it's really putting words to the sensations. And, there's a lot of people say, I don't have the palate for that. Like, you have the palate, you just don't have the language. And you're going to learn the language by hanging out with people who speak the language.
Right. Yeah, and judge education is a thing that definitely the homebrew clubs focus on, educating judges and making sure that the judges know the language.
There's a weekly, is it weekly?
There's a regular.
Weekly or bi-weekly? Yeah, regular.
Wednesday.
There's a regular meeting.
For sensory right now. It's on Wednesdays, and there are BGCP study groups. There are things that, you don't have to worry about offending somebody because you judge their beer. Like, I think people need to get over that. But it's not what everybody wants to do. When I'm having a beer, sometimes somebody asks me what I think of it, and I'll tell them, and they're like, oh, you really want to know. And so then you have to, like, literally reframe everything, start over, and go through all the things, and it's a lot of work sometimes. Maybe I should ask some questions. What are they trying to ask me? What are you looking for?
I think that there's a dividing line though between what I would call beer appreciation and beer evaluation, right? So as judges, we're taught to be evaluators. How does this compare versus the standards and the guidelines? How does it compare versus the other beers I've drinking? Appreciation to me is more about, I think, actually being able to appreciate beer because you know something about it. A West Coast IPA should have some of those piney, citrusy, grapefruity West Coast hops. An English is going to be more sort of herbal, right? Floral. So it's those types of things that allows you to actually drink a beer and be able to say, I like this, and have the language to talk about it without actually having to get into, the aftertaste is a little off and it's got too much diacetyl on the back end. I mean, those are nice things to have as a judge, but as an appreciator, it might just be, I don't like it, can't taste buttery, So that's kind of the difference.
There are so many more varietals of hops. There are so many more flavors that they're coaxing out of the hops. There's so much more information.
Yeast varieties. There's so much more stuff.
The same hop can be show different expressions of all kinds of things, and depending on when they pick them. I mean, so it can be as complex as you want it, but you can just say, hey, this is a delightful beer. It's really hitting the spot right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, appreciation versus valuation. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So,
What is your favorite beer you've ever drank?
God, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I would probably have to give my nod to that one. I worked in Europe for a couple of years and got to go to Cologne and drank Colognes in little Stang glasses and in Cologne and
Cool.
Kolsch's. And so I've always been a big Kolsch fan. I think it fits really nicely in that space between being, light and flavorful and crisp, sort of like an American lager, which can be a little tasteless, but it boosts up the taste in it, right? And I think that that's probably, it's not very exotic, but I would probably say that's my favorite beer that I've drinking. Literally was when they come around with I keep wanting to get out to Bonehouse out
Right.
because I don't know if they
Cold
still do it. They have a
service on
cold
Monday.
service. I've never been. I got
Every Monday,
I
yeah.
want to get out there one day. Beyond that, I tend to gravitate towards less now that I live in Phoenix, but when I was in Seattle, gravitate a lot towards a lot of oak, barrel aged imperial stouts is the other thing I love too. But I don't drink much down here because this is so hot all the time.
Yeah.
Do you have a desert island beer? If you could only have one beer for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh boy, I don't know the answer to that question. I've always been a variety seeker. I would probably pick out
It's a lot of pressure, man.
even though it has like no shelf life, I'd probably pick out like a West Coast IPA if I had to pick something.
Yeah.
I just like the refreshing bitterness that comes through with that, and
A particular one, though?
no,
Okay, cool.
not in
Style's
particular.
fine.
I will tell you locally, I'm
Sure.
a huge fan of the Dragoon IPA from Dragoon, and every time I get to California, I have to bring back some Plain of the Elder from Russian River. But it doesn't mean that they're so. The Russian River thing's probably more of a novelty because I can get out there and get it. We used to be able to buy it in Seattle, but they've cut back their distribution so much. But my
And you don't live there?
I don't live there, but I have a brother and a son in San Francisco, so I get out there at least once or twice a year.
So you mentioned Kolsch,
Yes.
and this is one of the things I love about this club. I was, over there trying beers with Russ Seidemann, who brought a New Glarus Belgian Red, and he was just talking about stuff, and he said, "Yeah, I didn't know they made a Kolsch, but he's like, this is the best. That was the best Kolsch he
New
had
Glarus.
ever." Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and that's not I'm not familiar that when I've gone there, and it hasn't been a lot. It hasn't been. I guess it was last year, but I wasn't aware they had a Kolsch. It's not inconceivable. He is a German trained brewer.
Yeah, and it's Wisconsin, which is good.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was a national judge. There's your tip that you didn't even know there was a tip. Coming out about that. It's like that's these conversations that we have are just invaluable for especially if you travel and you sound like you
I've
get around
traveled
with
a
it.
lot, yeah.
Well, great. Hey, it was great talking to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad you guys are doing this. It's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, thanks. Come dash.
How many people have like just a big raw deep beer belch right into your microphones?
None so far.
No, zero.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if it's good, I can put it on one of the pads and like call it up in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like some. We don't use it. Like if you did Facebook Live and you wanted to put your intro on this pad and you wanted to have your outro, you want to have your break music, or if you're wanting a wacky morning zoo and you want the helicopter noise for the traffic and you want.
So you just hit the red button.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So
Or you just have me do that. I mean, it's fine.
where are we in this meeting? Are we still doing mead stuff?
Yeah.
Alan's going strong. We're into hour number 2. People are getting a little sleepy.
People are falling over.
All right.
They're
we're,
not.
We're
They're
here
not.
with Keith. Keith
Mycek,
introduce yourself.
king of the world.
Do I really need to introduce myself at this
Because
point?
like everybody
the
doesn't know how
people
to
don't know you.
pronounce your name. I know how to say it.
Finally.
No, I knew it because like you brought it up on the Brewing Network a long time ago and they forgot.
Whoa.
And then he was calling you the wrong name, and
This
you were
is
like,
deep knowledge. What the
Yeah.
hell is going on?
I roll with it. As
Yeah.
long as it doesn't get too graphic.
Yeah.
My dad Walter has had a couple of letters addressed to more racy versions of my last name. I would think.
I can't even imagine what those are now.
It's okay. I mean,
How do you spell it?
it's Mycek.
See, that was a trick. Everyone look it up right now.
Yeah. My name's Keith. Keith Mycek.
Not my
Been a
check.
home brewer for not my check.
I'll take it back then.
Been a home brewer for going on 30 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah, started back
In the 90s.
95, 90, yeah. It's 31. Oh, yeah, I was introduced by you as well, Andrew, have been brewing that long?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. I worked at a nightclub.
I don't know you for 31 years, though. Why?
No. I had free bottles because our nightclub mandated reusable bottles from our vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would clean out the bottles and just chunks of dip would come flowing out. It was really not.
That's why you don't want to use like used bottles. Like,
I mean, speak for yourself. Here in the
I mean, I used to have a
in
tagline.
2026, yeah. In 1995, when you don't have any money and the only hops you can get are in paper bags.
Now,
Yeah.
if he dried the cigarette butts out and smoked them the little
That
bit,
would have been
that
bad. That'd be a
little
little
saving,
much.
little cost
Yeah,
savings.
True.
Perhaps. I mean, I used to have a tagline on the bottom of my Brewing Network post that said, like, life is too short to bottle homebrew. But I would say, I would have, probably change that now and say, life is too short to use used bottles to bottle homebrew.
Okay. I bottle in like if I can find a bottle that has had pressure in it and a cap that will go on it, I have put beer into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for archiving for sure.
I am actually going to start fermenting.
Really? Again? After how many years, Rob?
It's been 15 or
Yeah.
something like that.
No,
14.
really?
14 years, yeah. It's I stopped right before I got this job, I think. No, it's 13. Anyway, I just bought a $1.99 bottle of apple juice from Aldi. And I got a number 6.5 stopper and an airlock and some Kvike. And then the goal here is I want to run some test batches on a neutral apple cider because I have cider that I've collected and frozen from my house in Flagstaff. And I had a wild idea. I wanted to do like a Basque style, and I don't want to screw it up. I want
What's that style?
It's like kind of intentionally funky and sour.
Okay.
So I want to try. I've never used Kvike yeast, so I'm like, I'm gonna go to town on that, just like get it all weird,
This reminds me of
hot, and just like neutral.
This reminds me of when my kids
Beige.
were young, and our family's like from back east, New York. So we would go there regularly, usually in the summertime. We would cruise out of there. So I remember when the kids were really young, we used to buy this V8 juice. It was 100% juice, and it was in the fridge. And we forgot about it. We went to New York, came back, opened it up, and and I smelled it and drank it. And I'm like, oh, that's daddy juice now.
Yeah. So I've run that experiment in my garage with an old kilt lifter, like when it was 8%, and turned into this delicious malt vinegar because like someone poured it. We had a kegger in my garage, and it was that time of year. It was kind of cool, but not too cool.
Sure.
And it was just sitting on a shelf, and I pulled it off thinking it was empty, and it just splashed on me, and it was just like, wow, this is really good. So I just kind of like carefully took the mold off it and tried to cultivate it. And then my wife got mad at me.
Yeah.
And like, no, I'm like, you don't understand. This is all right. Well,
So back to you started homebrewing in '95.
Yep, started homebrewing in '95. My college roommate who moved to North Carolina or South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. I was visiting him. He knew I was like a big craft beer fan, and he was like, so he's like, hey, you want a beer? I'm like, yeah, sure. I was staying with him for a few days, and he hands me a beer, and it's like some weird style, some dark beer that maybe I might not have had before. And it's like, oh, this is a whatever. And I drank it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And he's like, yeah, you want another? Yeah, sure. And he like grabs me like this some other completely different random style, and gives it to me. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then by like the third one, I'm like, who makes this beer? This is really good. Like, where can I buy it? He's like, I made it, and not only that, but we're gonna make beer tomorrow on the stove. I'm gonna show you how to do it. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't even know you could make beer. I mean, if I had
Yeah.
that little nugget of knowledge about 3 years before that, I would make all the fruit beers for the ladies in college. 100%.
Nah, you'd make some sort of hooch.
Like prison hooch
Right
or something.
there. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I've never been like really into. I know there's this huge fad that maybe that's going on maybe 12 or 15 years now, where like everything was imperial this and imperial that, and everybody's like pushing the boundaries of alcohol strength and stuff like that. And I never really understood it. It's not my thing. I mean, I can appreciate it. I can have like a little snifter of like a nice, barrel aged something or other, but it doesn't like scratch the itch for me. Like I like to drink beer. When I drink beer, I like to drink large quantities. Of beer.
Yeah.
Large quantities
Right.
of low alcohol beer.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been gravitating. After so many years of doing brewing and kind of going through you're an extract brewer, so you have back in the day you had 3 extracts to choose from. So they said you got light, medium, and dark. And don't use medium or dark.
right.
So,
Yeah.
the
You
steeper
had dry
the-
and you had liquid.
right.
And
So after
don't use liquid.
So after I got into all grain brewing, it's like a world of opportunity came to me. I got really into malty German beers. I was like, I can make a Vienna lager for real now. I can make a Munich. I can do something, whatever.
English dark mild.
Well, yeah, that's a favorite style of mine. I continue to brew it all the time. That's probably one that's up next for me to bring to the club. This will be
Let's talk about that, because that's a new thing that we have these beer engines, and they're meticulously maintained by somebody. I don't know who, but
I don't know if they're meticulously. I mean, they're maintained. I definitely run some rinse water through them, and then some star sand. So,
but it's got a cask, it's got a rebreather, so you can.
Yeah, this is like a full on, if you were in a modern English pub that had any more than 2 or 3 casks, they would have a cask breather system it doesn't add any pressure to it, just keeps a blanket on top of it. So you still run into the issues where you got to serve it fast, otherwise it's going to go flat. Whereas if you don't have a breather, you have to serve it fast because it's going to get oxidized and be horrible.
Right.
So we were able to keep it on for at least.
It's essential for a club that doesn't meet every day.
Right.
So it's there's only one other place that has more than one. It's Rent House, and then here is my guess, right?
Yeah.
Right now, not that someone couldn't open a place up or pull one out of the warehouse and get a program going, but you guys are at the vanguard of keeping it going, I guess, right?
It's a style of serving that needs to remain relevant. And I'm glad that we were graciously donated one from Chad Ebby from the Casual Pint. He's no longer with them anymore, but he had one. And then another homebrewer, Dave Raberchek. Sorry, I'm butchering those names as well. Graciously donated the other one. So yeah, we have 2 engines at a time. We could serve 2 different cask beers, and I think it was a success. I mean, I want to really drive that program and get people to continue, just take a pin home. I brew 10 gallons. I can't drink, all that much beer anymore. So just run 5 gallons into a cask and do it real, a cask condition it. So throw some yeast in there, and some priming sugar, just like you would prime your bottles. But it's 1 bottle. Clean instead of 48 or whatever. Yeah.
So what is if someone out there is I've been to England, I'm kind of interested in that, or you don't have to be a homebrewer to join this club and maybe be informed on that or participate in that. Is that correct?
Yeah, come on. We should. We'll probably post when our next cask night is, when we tap some casks, but. It'd be great to have people that are not necessarily homebrewers, that are, cask beer aficionados, so come here and check it out.
Curious.
Yeah, cask curious.
So I want to whip through a bunch of things, because you have a long, important history with this club. You were president at one point.
Uh-huh.
1 point.
1 point.
For 10 years, yeah.
No, I was on the board for 10 years, but only a president for 4.
Right, and you've driven sort of the technology portion and this build out. You've been a part of that. Tell us a little bit about what the motivations for having an app, having this tracking system. You spoke about it at NHC. I don't want you to talk about all of that, or HomebrewCon, showing my age.
Yeah.
Calling it NHC.
I still call it NHC.
You know, what are the things that, I mean, obviously those things keep you connected. I mean, you're literally feathering your nest here, you know, making the club in your vision, to say that a little bit.
I mean, well, we'll start with the club question first, because that was like after COVID, you know, everybody went home, stayed home. So it was like, how do we get people out? How do we get them back to meeting together? It took a really long time, but I think that David, current president, and I had this like, if you build it, they'll come kind of mentality, where let's make a space that like what we've always wanted, because we used to have a club when I first met you, Andrew, back in 2007 or 2008 in Scottsdale, and it was kind of like it was a handshake deal with the landlord. We didn't really have any kind of lease to speak with, so we didn't really want to invest any money into it. And it was just one big room, and then it didn't serve all the purposes of the club. You know, like one thing I harken back to is like, you know, there's a homebrewing club should be what it should be for each individual member, right? Some people want to come out and hang socially. There's some people behind us right now that are not attending the meeting, but they can still see the presentation in the lounge here. So they could be like passive participants where they're still here, still engaged, but they're scratching their itch with I want to be social and talk to people, homebrewers, about beer, so they're out here.
Well, and we've got a local amazing professional brewer here. Then people are like, oh, I can get 10 minutes talking to him.
Sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, Derek Osborne, Doc from Pedal House, sitting over there with one of our former presidents, Paul, and Christian Chandler, who's won medals and has been a longtime member. I'm just trying to paint a picture, because not everyone watches the video, and I don't think everyone can see. Oh, yeah, I guess you could see him back there. But this club, you know, owes you a lot for really carrying the torch of having a sense of place. We heard from Jeff, who really thinks that's what drives his interest in the club. And to your point, I mean, the club is doing a lot of different things, and one of the goals is to get more people to support that. When I was explaining what we're doing with this podcast today, or collecting people's thoughts, is, hey, you could pay to support this club. You could pay your membership. You could buy 5 memberships, but like, it's better to get 5 friends here, or 5 people who have an interest who have other skills. Like, you know, someday we're not going to have Keith Mycek to be able to flip the computer on, and a lot of us are not going to know what to do. So
we'll go back to the Stone Age. We'll start handing out paper cards again. And
yeah, no. Well, in true homebrew fashion, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll get it done.
Everything get figures out.
So so to answer, the club build out was to kind of fulfill that desire that we had been saving for. Like, we're gonna get a clubhouse, and then we're eventually gonna be able to do with it what we want to. And when we got this place, it was like, okay, we got a blank canvas here. What do we do now? Well,
it wasn't that blank. To be honest, there was a lot of demo that had to be done. Oh, yeah.
I mean, but it was all just like partition walls, office space, that sort of thing. It wasn't any like major infrastructure. There's nothing structural about it.
It was a lot of demo. I mean, yeah.
But, you know, so we wanted to make a cozy kind of welcome space when you first walk in. That's like that's your lounge. It's got, you know, one thing I wanted to get rid of was all the fluorescent lighting. So something warm, something inviting, space that we could all congregate in, that has, you know, some games and the kegerator and some nice couches to sit on. And then eventually it was like, okay, what phase 2 is like, let's build out like a really nice, awesome event space that has, you know, all the PA equipment and AV screens and other things like that.
So presentations to be done. People can ask questions from the audience, but people can also chime in online who are watching.
Yeah, that's something that we started doing, you know, obviously during COVID. The first thing we started doing was streaming all our meetings live, and then patching them in with some hardware into the computer so that people at home can actually ask questions. Everybody in the room can hear that question, so it could be interactive at that point. So and then when we brought so now that we have the lounge and the meeting rooms, we're actually streaming the meeting right now from that room into this room. So there's a little bit of a delay, but you can hear what's going on there, and we talked about like maybe getting a microphone in here where you can kind of walk up to it, hit a button, ask a question, that sort of thing.
It's like you're in the control room.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Cares about everyone's voice.
No, I think
That's
this
amazing.
should be just the passive part of it. I mean, I think there's something to be said for sitting on a folding chair in there and participating versus just
Sure.
throwing out wisecracks from here.
Yeah. It's just trolling from the lounge.
Hey, you guys made a fart.
We might get the wireless from the Chick-fil-A or something. Some order might start patching in here.
And then your second question about the app. So that kind of, I had written an app for the club that was Apple only back in 2016, and it was basically at the time we got new membership cards, a new membership system, so the cards are kind of printed automatically, and everybody has a barcode on them. We used to have an optical scanner where people scanned in, and so I was like, all right, let me see if I could write an app that pulls from that database and lets people kind of friend other people in the club, so you get little notifications when they check in. It's not like it's a huge place, but I was over there talking to somebody, my back was to the thing, and then Barry checked in. I got a little alert that my friend checked in. I was like, oh, cool. Barry's here. So it was kind of a way to like get people more socially active and engaged. But now that we're talking about where we are with homebrewing in 2026. It's taking a little hit, as far as its popularity, and it's like how do we get people back into it? How do we get people engaged in it? And I think a lot of young people just reach in their phone, in their pocket for their phone. So I'm going to really revive the app again, and let me start putting some more functionality in there to kind of drive that interaction and participation, and hopefully get more people excited and connected. Because communication has always been something that we've been dinged on in the past, like, oh, you guys, we had 5 versions of the truth, or the calendar wasn't updated, or the website wasn't updated, or somebody doesn't look at the website, they just want to get text messages. Everybody, it's different for everybody. So we're trying to drive everybody towards the app. It's a unifying platform. You can get the same type of alerts that way. It's a lot less.
Every organization goes through the same thing for sure.
So, you've been on the board. You've enlisted the assistance of people on the board, people in the club that have different types of skills. What kinds of members are we missing right now? You mentioned younger people. When I was on the board, there were no women, and then when I left the board, I was the only guy.
Right.
It's kind of. I mean, we've got 5 or 6 here today, maybe, or maybe 3 or 4.
There's a lot. I actually made a comment to David. I said, "Oh, this is great. We have." A ton of women here today, or more than usual, which I thought was awesome. Club has always been trying to be inclusive and trying to be, we want diversity to be great. Like, we're all like, beer people are the best people.
We've got beer, wine, cider, but
Pickles.
Kegels?
Pickles.
Oh. Something different.
Wow.
I'm just curious. Like, what do you think we're missing?
I think so I ran some numbers, for the presentation in Asheville, and you could just see like over the years, for the last 10 years, we're just getting older and older, and like those younger groups, the 20 to 30, the 30 to 40, especially, they're flatlining or declining, and we want to be relevant for them. So what does that mean? Like, because in order for this club to thrive, we need new people excited about homebrewing. So
Yeah.
So we really need to listen. When somebody says, "Hey, I wish you had more events like this or like that," or I wish, listen, it's a constantly evolving, problem to solve. But it started when I was like, as a vice president, and tried to focus on growing membership, like how to do that. So it's not a magic bullet, and I'm not sure that it'll work, but we're giving it a go. We're seeing if people picks up, and so there's a leaderboard now. It's on the app. That's it used to be only check-ins. We used to give people one check-in point for every time they check into one of our events. But I asked the board to put together a list of activities that they would want to reward participation for. So like if somebody comes in early to the clubhouse and straightens up, takes the trash out, has to take the recycling out, mops the floor, brings a beer, helps out at a meeting by pouring, a beer or something like that. They should be recognized. So we're gonna so now the version 4.0, it's live in the app right now. The board members can do that. They can award those points for those volunteer activities, and the board, the leadership board is going to be so much more dynamic now because there's not everything's just 1 point anymore. So you can get 4 points for doing something, and so I imagine there's going to be some vying towards the end of the year for which we haven't really decided on what you get from that. We're talking about maybe like a plaque or trophy that has the member of the year, so you're immortalized on the. At the clubhouse.
I think it's important. I think there's a lot of oral history in this club, and to have something permanently affixed to the wall, I guess, as long as we have the walls, it's something. But I thought I had obviously taken some time away when I was in the job, but I check in once in a while. But like having come to a couple of successive meetings, I'm seeing some things I really makes me proud of the leadership in the last couple of years. But the fermented food meetings was a good change of pace. And
sure.
I was like, I thought someone was going to make makgeolli, and we just talked to Craig. It turned out it was Craig, and at the last happy hour, I talked to some folks, and they were interested in makgeolli. So that's actually two, Rose and her friend, the new member who I saw get really excited when they got their card and they got the check-in. I need to talk to them. So that's 3 people right there, 4 people plus Craig, who simultaneously hey.
I had some amazing makgeolli in Italy, of all places, at that international beer festival that was put on by a guy that reached out to me actually through Jeff at Superstition. I guess they somehow connected at some beer fest or whatever, and they became fast friends, and they've visited each other's houses and countries, and
nice.
So he wanted us to last year to participate as a club to bring some historic beers, and I'm like, that's perfect for me.
Wow,
that's
cool.
exactly what
did you end up?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to brew the beer myself and get because of all the taxes and tariffs and fees and all the stuff of shipping homebrew to another country. So actually, I piloted a little. You'd be proud of me, Andrew. I made a little tiny batch,
Nice.
12 bottles.
When you got there.
No, I got here.
Okay.
Just to because he gave me a style, an article of a style that I had never heard of before. It's not an NABJCP.
Was this
guidelines.
the indigenous?
It's some indigenous
corn ale.
It's from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like Choctaw Indians made this thing for the miners. Made this kind of low alcohol, probably slightly funky and sour at the time. It was in the 1800s, and had a lot of corn in it. Had whatever fruit that they could throw in there too. Like I used peaches, but I heard you could use raisins or something like that. So I did a little small test batch on a little microwavy type of pico brew thing that I got from the club, and then actually they came over and to visit Jeff up in Prescott, and I was texting him on WhatsApp. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be in town." And I was like, and he didn't give me the dates, but then I just happened to reach out to him and like, "Hey, when are you coming in?" He's like, "Oh, I'm coming in tomorrow, and I'm gonna be up in Prescott." I'm like, "Oh, cool. You have some time?" He's like, "It's not really. We have 1 or 2 days, and then we're going north from there." And I'm like, "Don't worry, man. I'll come up there." So I actually doctored up my first batch was kind of good, but it was a little bit dry for me, and it didn't just.
You're making 1 gallon batches?
It was it was like a two gallon batch, I think maybe.
Okay.
It just wasn't like a. I've always heard, I haven't made a lot of fruit beers, but I've been studying them, and in order to like drive the fruit flavor, you definitely need a little residual sweetness in there. So, and then tartness is another thing I wanted to play with too. So I had the beer that I made, and then I doctored up a couple other versions that had little tinctures that I added, either some citric acid in,
Acid blend, yeah.
or a little more sugar or something like that, or whatever. And then brought it up to him, and then we had like a big panel of like tasting, and then he goes, "All right, that's the one I like." I said, "All right, well, here's the recipe," and I sent it off to him, and he found a local Italian brewer, that craft brewer, and that little nano guy that whipped it up, and he did a pretty good job.
Awesome! What a great experience.
That's almost a better experience than making it and schlepping it over there. Honestly,
Yeah.
I didn't have as much pride, pouring it, because I was like, "Oh, it's my recipe," but it was made by this other guy, and so I actually talked to him. When I left, I said, "Yeah, I'm going to love to come back, and I know you're really interested in historic beers, and
Right.
you wanted that one for the first round,
Right.
but I know of a couple other historic American styles that
Right.
need some love, like Anchor, like a steam beer,
Right.
California Common, or a classic American Pilsner. Like these are styles that people should know about, and that's the kind of I want to bring that next time. Just have to figure out how to maybe I could partner with another brewery here in the U.S. because he has people ship pallets, from here from
Right.
the U.S. So go over there to
Yeah,
do
I don't know anyone who's has that kind of a story. That's really cool. Like now, I'm going to call you Keith Mycek Keller.
All right, it's better than what a lot of the other people call me. I don't know.
Well,
Hey Keith, do you have a favorite beer? Like all-time favorite beer
I have,
ever in history of you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I have
All right.
3
Yeah.
or maybe 5. Depends on the day.
Okay.
But I don't know where they are, where they fit in there. But every time I drink them, I'm like, this is really amazing, and I cannot go the rest of my life without drinking this beer.
Like the peak
But
best
probably
beer ever.
Okay, the peak best beer ever. I'll go out. You got me. I'll commit. It's Orval.
Okay, great.
Orval is the best.
Nice. How about a
Well, then
desert
there-
island beer?
can I
the
name
last
the other
beer
ones?
you can ever drink. Only one beer from now till eternity.
I mean, if that's the only beer I could only drink forever,
It wouldn't be Orval because
right? Because you can't drink a ton
that'd
of
be a
that.
lot.
That would be a lot. That's a great question. I would probably have to say Pilsner or Quill.
All right, fair. Cool.
thanks for your time, man.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. You said you wanted to speak about some other beers.
I would think Guinness is up there somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fuck
every time
yeah.
I have Guinness, I'm like, this is so delicious.
Yeah.
I finish it way too quick because it's low alcohol beer, very flavorful. Love it. So it's in
It's
there.
one of
It's
my
in there.
favorite summer beers, honestly. Like,
I just bought a 12-pack the other day.
yeah.
People are like, you can't drink dark beer in the summertime. I'm like, sure can.
Or Guinness Zero. Because sometimes zero is
I
a
have
thing.
If I know you guys are pressed for time, you're probably going to edit this down because I'm speaking too long.
No.
Probably not.
We'll see.
I had the privilege of playing with my father for the last 10 years at an invitational golf competition that his club hosts in Florida. I'm actually going there tonight, actually, to see him. And one year we just happened. So my brother had stopped drinking alcohol and was drinking a lot of NA beers, and I still had the only NA beer that I had probably up to that point was what's that one? It's the most popular one. Athletic. I was like, oh, that's. So I never had anything else.
I was going to say
back in the
O'Doul's,
day.
but okay.
Well, okay, O'Doul's and Klostaller, they've been around forever. So I was definitely. I've had those before, but they're kind of malty and heart-ish and whatever. But anyway, so he went to Publix and got a bunch of NA beers, and he brought Guinness NA, and then I tried it, and I'm like, this is really close to Guinness, really close, and I enjoyed it as much more than any other NA beer that I ever had was the Guinness Zero NA beer, and we just happened to be playing that next day with a guy from Ireland, like an Irish guy, on the other team. And I got to know him, and we were chatting back and forth. And went up to him at the awards dinner, and I said, "Hey, just by the way, like I got to tell you, like I had this, I love Guinness, but I had this Guinness NA beer, and it's really, really close and really good." And he's like, I'm not gonna do his accent because I'm gonna butcher it, but he told me this funny story where a buddy of his was razzing him and feeding him all these the Guinness NA beers like one after another, and after 6, the guy was like, "Hey man, I drank like 6 of these things, and I don't have any buzz." And he's like, "You were drinking the NA beer," and he had no idea.
Yeah.
So that's like an Irish guy was fooled, the thinking that he was drinking the real thing.
Yeah. It's good.
It's a testament to how good it is.
I mean, personally, a half and half Guinness regular and Guinness NA is absolutely amazing.
Really, just cuts it in half a little bit.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I mean, it's already like a 3.5-4% beer.
It's like a 4.2 beer, and then like cut that in half. It's so good.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about that beer is vacuum distilled, as is Deschutes Black Butte Porter, as is College Street's Big Blue Van.
I haven't had. They have Big Blue Van in.
I brought some to one of the last meetings here.
Vacuum distilled. Athletic stuff is vacuum distilled too.
No, they use a different kind of yeast that doesn't create as much of the doesn't create alcohol in the fermentation. That's why it's worty to me.
Yeah.
As opposed to tasting like, and also there's a target beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to make the flavor profile of a Guinness, as opposed to we're just going to make a nondescript pale ale.
Right.
So who really knows what the target is? Maybe it's a sweeter pale ale. Maybe it's a warty pale ale. But those things taste like
yeah.
So you obviously prefer the vacuum distilled
Oh
ones.
yeah, 100%.
Of all those beers, which one do you think is the front runner? What's your desert island NA beer?
Well, see, there's an assumption that people make that a desert island is tropical. It just means it's deserted.
Right.
No, you're right. You're right. That's
so
fair.
it could be you could be looking at Shackleton's ship in the Arctic.
Right. That's true.
And so then I want a Russian Imperial Stout because you said a lot of the same things. I enjoy the Guinness NA, but I didn't get enough Timothy Taylor when I was in the UK, and it's always been perhaps because I don't have it. Or that on the regular, that's still what I really, really prefer, like that malty flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Although when I was in Nashville, I went to this brewery south of there, and I had a lower alcohol, 4.2 versus 4.8 Hellas, and it was so. I mean, I could have just had that one beer and ignore all the other delicious beers he had, but I couldn't do that because he was really nice and he was telling me all about these beers, and I can't just go like, no, I'm going to stick with this. I'm not even going to dip my toe in any of these other beers. So, like anything, it's contextual.
Sure. Beer for the moment.
I'm craving that Hellas, and I'm also craving Timothy Taylor, and I'm not going to get it. So, I don't know. Like Jeff mentioned, he gets Dragoon IPA. That's my IPA of choice here in Arizona.
Sure.
Hasn't been for a while. Tend to drink it not in Tucson though, drink it here. So
they make a good mild.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
They make a great Brett Pale Ale too, but not often enough. So.
Really?
Well, Red House makes Pubber. That's
Pubber solid.
I mean, I've been looking for it.
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of luck.
My favorite from them is got to be the Shoveler. That's a pale mild. Which the Shoveler?
Oh, yeah, I did have it once. I had it at the pub.
That one's just delicious.
At the 24th Street location.
Especially on a cask, nice and creamy.
Yeah.
Creamy. Effing pints. Can I
Gents,
swear on your podcast?
It's about to get real loud in here, so we should probably wrap this
All right.
up.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
You're the man. Thank you for all you do for beer.
Thank you, Andrew, for all you do for Arizona beer. And Rob, for all the things that you used to do for Arizona beer.
I have a little bit. Enough to spin.